As we age, life promises us golden years of rest and joy. But what happens when the retirement you dreamed of starts feeling more like a burden than a blessing? Why do so many seniors in America, after decades of hard work, find themselves wrestling with loneliness, unspoken regrets, or a quiet longing for something more? It's not just about getting older. It's about the slow drift of purpose, the fading connections with loved ones, and the moments we let slip away without even noticing. This is a reality too many face but few dare to talk about. So, join me at Soulful Aging Wisdom as we explore why these years can feel so heavy for older Americans and how to turn that weight into something meaningful before time runs out. Stick with me. This might just change how you see aging, relationships, and the rest of your life.
What flips the switch? How does a love that once lit up your world, those late-night talks, the laughter over burnt dinners, the comfort of a familiar hand, start to dim? It's not a sudden crash. It's a slow unraveling. Picture a thread pulling loose from a sweater, unnoticed at first, until the whole thing starts to fray. For many couples over 60, that thread is years of little hurts, missed chances to really see each other, and a growing distance that neither knows how to bridge. It's not loud arguments or big betrayals. It's the stillness that settles in, the questions left unasked, the moments that slip by. And here's the kicker. Most don't even see it happening until it's a canyon between them. Let's figure out why and how to pull it back. Today at Soulful Aging Wisdom, we're diving into the real reasons love shifts as we age. Not the cliches, but the truths hiding in plain sight. I've got 7 key insights to share, pulled from stories, studies, and the lives of couples just like you. Better yet, we'll uncover simple ways to turn that drift around before it's too late. Because love doesn't have to fade. It can grow deeper, even now. Whether you're married, widowed, or just curious about what the years do to a relationship, stick around. This might spark a change you didn't know you needed. Number 1. Time blurs the little things that matter. Remember when you'd notice every detail, how they smiled at a bad joke or hummed while cooking? Over decades, those moments fade into the background. A 2023 study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that couples over 65 often stop paying attention to small gestures. 70% said they assume their partner knows how they feel. I met Ellen, a 68-year-old from Virginia, who said, "I stopped thanking Jim for making coffee every morning. Now we barely look up from our phones." It's not laziness. It's habit. But when the little joys vanish, so does the glue that holds you together. Number 2. Silence replaces curiosity. In the early days, you'd ask everything, "What's on your mind? How was your day?" Fast forward 30 years, and conversations shrink to, "Dinner's ready," or "Did you pay the bill?" A University of California survey showed 55% of older couples talk less than 15 minutes a day about anything meaningful. Why? Life gets routine, and curiosity fades. I talked to Paul, a 72-year-old from Oregon, who said, "I don't ask anymore. I figure she'll tell me if it's important." That silence builds walls. And soon, you're roommates, not soulmates. Number 3. The weight of caregiving shifts the balance. Aging brings health hiccups, arthritis, heart issues, memory slips. For many, one partner becomes the caregiver. A 2024 AARP report says 1 in 3 seniors over 70 take on this role for their spouse. It's noble, but exhausting. Take Maria, a 66-year-old from Texas who cares for her husband with Parkinson's. She told me, "I love him, but I'm tired. I miss us being equals." When love turns into duty, resentment can sneak in, dimming the romance you once had. Number 4. Retirement rewrites your rhythm. Work kept you busy, maybe too busy, but it gave you space. Retirement throws you together 24/7, and that's a shock. A 2023 Michigan State study found 40% of newly retired couples struggle to adjust. One wants adventure, the other wants quiet. I met Dave, a 69-year-old from Florida, who said, "I want to golf. She wants me home." We're stepping on each other's toes. Without separate rhythms, you can lose the individuality that made you a team. Number 5. Physical closeness takes a back seat. Intimacy isn't just about the bedroom, it's a touch on the shoulder, a hug after a long day. But as we age, bodies change, and so does desire. A 2024 National Institute on Aging survey found 60% of couples over 65 report less physical connection. Not always from lack of love, but from fatigue or health. Susan, a 70-year-old from Ohio, shared, "We don't hold hands anymore. It feels awkward now. When touch fades, so does a piece of your bond." Number 6. Dreams diverge, and no one notices. You used to dream together. Trips to Italy, a cabin by the lake. But over time, those plans shift. One of you wants to downsize, the other clings to the family home. A 2023 Pew Research study found 45% of older couples disagree on future goals. I met Linda, a 67-year-old from Colorado, who said, "I want to travel." He wants to stay put. We stopped dreaming the same dream. When your paths split, the shared spark dims. Number 7. Gratitude gets buried under routine. Early on, you'd say thank you for every little thing. Fixing the car, baking a pie. Decades later, it's expected, not celebrated. A 2024 Harvard study on aging couples found that 50% feel unappreciated by their partner. John, a 71-year-old from Nevada, told me, "She cooks every night, and I don't even think to say it's good anymore." When gratitude fades, so does the warmth that keeps love alive. So why does this happen? It's not that love dies, it's that it gets buried. These shifts, silence, routine, caregiving, mismatched dreams, aren't signs you failed. They're signals you've grown, changed, and maybe forgotten to check in with each other. Love doesn't vanish in a blaze. It slips away in the shadows of everyday life. But here's the hope. What's buried can be unearthed. At Soulful Aging Wisdom, we believe your later years aren't the end of connection. They're a chance to rediscover it. You deserve a love that feels alive, not just a memory. And it starts with seeing what's been hiding all along. Love isn't a flame that burns forever on its own. It's a garden that thrives when you water it, weed it, and sit with it under the sun. So, how do you bring it back when the years have piled up and the silence feels too deep to break? It's not about grand gestures or rewriting the past. It's about small, deliberate steps that whisper, "I still see you, and you still matter." Let's walk through this together, because at Soulful Aging Wisdom, we believe your golden years aren't the end of love. They're a chance to make it richer, deeper, and more honest than ever. Here's how you start, right now, today. First, notice the invisible. Your partner does things every day you've stopped seeing. Maybe they brew the coffee before you wake up, fold the laundry while you watch the news, or water the roses you've always loved. Pick one thing, just one, and say, "Thank you." Not a casual mumble, but a real look in the eyes, "Thank you for doing that." Why does this work? A 2024 study from Harvard showed that gratitude doesn't just warm the room. It rewires your brain to notice the good again. It's a tiny spark that says, "I haven't forgotten you." And over time, those sparks build a fire. Imagine Ellen, that 68-year-old from Virginia I mentioned earlier. She started thanking Jim for the coffee every morning. A week later, he smiled back, something they hadn't shared in months. It's simple, but it's powerful. Next, ask a question that opens a door. Not "what's for dinner?" but something deeper, something you haven't asked in years. "What's one thing you've always wanted to try but never told me?" Or, "If we could go anywhere tomorrow, where would you pick?" This isn't just chit-chat. It's an invitation. People crave being known, especially as we age, when the world starts looking past us. A University of California researcher found that couples who ask curious questions feel 25% more connected within a month. Think of Paul, the 72-year-old from Oregon. He asked his wife that question one night over tea. She paused, then said, "I always wanted to paint." Now they take a beginner's art class together every Thursday. One question cracked the silence open, because curiosity says, "You're still worth discovering." Then, bring back touch, not because you have to, but because you can. It doesn't need to be big. A hand resting on theirs while you watch TV, a hug when they walk through the door, a brush of fingers as you pass the salt. Aging changes bodies, sure, but it doesn't erase the need to feel close. Studies show physical touch lowers stress hormones by 15%. It's science, but it's also soul. Susan from Ohio told me she started holding her husband's hand during their evening walks. At first, he flinched. Awkward after so long, but by week 2, he reached for hers first. Touch rebuilds a bridge words can't always cross. Finally, dream together again, even if it's small. You don't need a trip to Paris. Plan a Saturday drive to a lake an hour away, or set up a picnic in the backyard with a blanket and sandwiches. The point isn't the size, it's the together. A 2023 Pew study found couples who share even one new goal feel 30% more hopeful about their future. Linda from Colorado wanted to travel, but her husband didn't. So they compromised. One weekend, they visited a local museum they'd never seen. She said, "It wasn't Rome, but it felt like us again." Dreams don't have to be grand. They just have to be yours. These steps aren't miracles. They're choices. Choices you can make today, no matter how long the quiet has lasted. If you're a husband, pause and ask yourself, when did I last listen? Not just hear, but really listen to what she's saying beneath the words. If you're a wife, reflect. When did I last let him see the me I've kept tucked away? Because here's the truth. Love doesn't fade because it's gone. It fades when we stop tending it. And the beautiful thing? It's never too late to pick up the watering can. We're not here to promise fairy tales. We're here to remind you that connection is a muscle you can still strengthen. Turn silence into stories by asking that question tonight. Turn routine into rediscovery by holding their hand tomorrow. Your golden years aren't a sentence to loneliness or distance. They can be the season where love grows roots deeper than you imagined. Picture this. A year from now, you're laughing over a shared dream, feeling that warmth again, knowing you chose it. That's not a fantasy, it's a possibility. So what's one small step you'll take today? Maybe it's a thank you, a question, a touch, or a plan. Drop it in the comments below. I'm right here with you, cheering for every moment you reclaim. Love grows when you nurture it, and I can't wait to see how your garden blooms.